Take cover, everybody. You're watching Laketoria Nights, a show where we talk about movies, TV shows, video games, and everything in between. I'm your demon hunter, Kevin, joined by your monster hunter, Andy, and your people hunter, CJ. Say hello, gentlemen.
The world's most dangerous game.
Today, we're actually going to be talking about slasher films, or I guess the most popular. What would they be called? Would they be just villains or monsters, or are they really antagonists though? Oh, I guess they are antagonists.
To win.
Well, you're right.
You're not supposed to.
Anyway, we're going to be talking about Freddy versus Jason versus Leatherface right? Yeah, Leatherface and Michael Myers. So we each kind of took one.
Interesting fact about Leatherface is originally his name was going to be like Head Cheese.
Yeah, so
I don't really like Leatherhead, the villain.
I'm pretty sure that's a Ninja Turtle villain. So what we did is we each went through and kind of learned a little bit about the person, and we're each going to share it with everyone else here, and we're going to decide who would win in a fight between all four of them. So I'll start off since I had two people, and I'll start with Freddy first. I didn't realize how much of a terrible person Freddy Krueger was before he died. I don't know if it's a product of his environment, but apparently his mother, he was a product of rape, and then once he was born, he just killed a bunch of people, and so he ended up getting off on a technicality after killing like a bunch of teenagers, and then the town got pissed off, and so they were burning him alive. Dream demons came out and said, hey, you want to go another round? We can keep you up alive, and you can survive in teenagers' dreams. He's like, okay, let's do it. And so now it's kind of like, oh man, this guy he's just the worst.
You know what's weird about that? Because in the new reboot of Freddy Krueger, they killed him because he was a child molester. So when you said he was a product of his environment, I'm like, wait, what?
Well, I guess it could be different because he also had like a line of comic books too, but he just loved killing people. He went off and killing people, and he might have done that too. I'm not sure. But
in the new reboot, that was his story.
Okay, well, either way, he has a list of powers, and he can do everything, which is ridiculous. But his one fatal flaw, he's like an evil Tinkerbell. If teenagers stop believing in him, he has no more power. That's his weakness. If you stop believing in him, he has no more power. And I'm like, are you kidding me?
Is it
That's
safe
how
to
we
say
get
the
it.
only person he could beat out of all of them then is Leatherface? Because Leatherface is mentally challenged and has the mind of a child, or the other ones just won't believe in him?
Maybe, I don't know. He needs multiple people to believe in him. That's how he becomes stronger. The more people believe in him, the more powerful he becomes. So that's Freddy.
That's actually the whole crux of the Freddy versus Jason movie.
I was reading that too. They did a lot of changes, but I'll get to that
Ohio forgets about him. The one useful thing Ohio's done ever was forgetting about Freddy.
All right, so who's your person, CJ?
I had Leatherface. Now, let me go back on this a little bit. I have a compulsive, childhood fear of Leatherface, so it was very hard for me to do Leatherface.
Why did you choose him? I gave you a full list and said choose any. You said him.
Because I figured, since I already had, a fear going into it, I didn't have to do that much research about it. Because I didn't want to look like an asshole on our channel, I was like, you know what, I'm going to research it. So I pretty much scared myself over the past night or two.
With your fear-motivated laziness.
Exactly. So there's different variations of Leatherface. What happened is there's the original 1976 version. And funny thing, Leatherface is actually the first slasher. When it comes to between Michael Myers, Jason, and Freddy Krueger and all that, Leatherface was number one. So they all came after Leatherface.
Oh, that's good to know. Well, that's interesting to know.
And with Leatherface, he never really had any type of powers or anything. Depending on what version you go with, he's just more of a mentally challenged adult who is a psychopath and takes orders from his psychopath family.
So he doesn't have any special abilities?
No, not at all. But what I chose to go through, because there's Texas Chainsaw Massacre 1 through 4, and then there's the reboot that had a prequel to go with it, and then there's a sixth or seventh movie that is a direct sequel to the 1976 version. I'm going to go with that Leatherface because that's the one I guess has the best continuity, because what they actually did for the newer film that came out in, I believe, 2013 was they actually took the 1974 version and remastered it, retouched it up, recreated the actual house to do a direct sequel from the events right after that movie when the girl got away. So I'm going to disregard all the ones in between that came out, like the one with Renee Zellweger and Matthew McConaughey. That was an awful movie. And really, it's just a family of cannibals with, you know, a mentally challenged child who grows up different, who hunts people for his sadistic family, and then the townspeople like burn down the house at the end of the beginning of the next movie, and then you find Leatherface.
Party of Four.
You find Leatherface like 20 some years later, and the house was restored by one of the survivors of the attack, our family members, and he still lives in the basement, and the girl inherits the house, and Leatherface is still kind of on his rampage, but he's not on a rampage because he's a psychopath. He's more of on a rampage because these people he doesn't know invaded his house. The last thing he remembers is his mom or aunt, whatever, saying don't let her get away. He let the girl get away, and then the cops come back and burn down his house and kill his family. So his motivation was really just kind of like, you guys are invading my property, I'm going to kill you because last time I didn't kill you, you killed my family. And then a bunch of shit happens. He realizes he was related to the one girl, and then the one girl ends up living there with Leatherface. And that's a whole nother thing. I'm saying all that
Me
to
and
say...
Leatherface. My apartment drama.
I'm saying that all to say that Leatherface, when it comes to like these slashers, I don't think is on the same rank as a Michael Myers, Freddy Krueger, or Jason. So I feel like he would come in last place because essentially he's just a mentally challenged person that's easily swayed.
Fair enough. All right then. How about you, Andy? How about your person?
I had Mike Myers. Made The Love Guru. Terrible movie.
I'm looking at you with this. I'm not saying anything. I'm just looking at you, very angry, going, you know who you're supposed to look up. And I swear to God, if you bring up Wayne's World or anything else like that, I'm like, no, you're done. You're finished.
Look, for what it's worth, I picked the most evil movie, which was The Love Guru. No, I had Michael Myers. Jeez, if there's a character that needs to, like, backtrack to figure out where this character is at, it's Michael Myers. He's been in, I think, counting this one, like 8 or 9 different movies, and so many of them contradict the events of like the previous movies. Like the new one that's coming out, I think, on Halloween or something like that, literally is a direct sequel to the original movie. So it cuts out every other movie and just jumps 40 years into the future and is like, hey, guess what?
Wait,
Yeah.
so did he have any special abilities?
It depends on which version you're going to look at as canon. Once you get into, what was it, Halloween 4 and 5, I think it was, when they introduced the cult of Thorn or something like that, that's when they sort of explain his, like, invulnerability or whatever, because he's been shot, stabbed, burned, like, you name it, it's happened to him and he keeps getting back up. Like, sort of exemplified, or I guess exaggerated the more those films go on, up until you start looking into the Rob Zombie reboots and this new one that, like I said, completely eliminates every other movie that came between the first one and this one, where he goes, like, the Rob Zombie ones are great because he goes from being like, hey, here's Michael Myers, this little kid, just kidding, he's a fucking pro wrestler and he's gonna, like, rip your head off. Anyways, his main weapon is a kitchen knife. That's what he's best known for. And he's stealthy, he's smart, and creepy as all get out. He's evil personified, quote the director. I think his craftiness is probably what would give him the upper edge on Leatherface. I think he'd probably lose to Freddy outright. And we're talking Jason. I think it'd be a pretty even match if we're talking pre-undead Jason.
So does he have any weaknesses? I mean, is there anything about him that would make...
Hasn't died yet.
Oh, well. Oh, this might change the way I see things now. Hold on.
Easily
all right.
distracted by not Jodie Foster. What's her face?
But
Damn.
yeah, like as far as weaknesses, I'd say the one thing is that he's kind of driven, like obsessively driven. So if he is on the path for something, he's not going to stop.
Okay.
Where, you know how like Jason sort of meticulously plans ways to like lure people into his traps and stuff
yes, well, that's my thing, and I'm about to say yes.
You know,
I
how
just
you,
felt like
you know how you beat Jason? don't go to Camp Crystal Lake.
Yeah, right.
All right.
But,
Well,
yeah, I think in the grand scheme of things, if we're talking pre-undead Jason, they'd probably be about on even foot, but I think they'd still lose to Freddy because he's a dream demon.
well, with Jason, with the information that I found out about this, Jason was a deformed kid that drowned in the lake, and apparently, I think it's either a demon or something just brought him back to life because he saw his mom kill like a whole bunch of people. And that's why he came back to life. So I'm just like, oh, well. And then he has a list of powers too, and a whole bunch of crap that he can do. They offhandedly talk about his ability to teleport, if he can really teleport, because he always seems to just appear when you don't need him the most. And
I
it's
think
like,
that's just like standard
movie
like,
thing,
horror
right?
movie antagonist power.
Yeah, but from
like,
what I've
everybody's
read,
got that. That's...
yeah, everyone has that, but for some reason he gets credited for it. Like, I think he can teleport. I'm like, I don't think he can teleport. I think everyone's just always so scared of him that they're not paying attention to how much.
Don't work that way.
Actually, I believe in the Friday the 13th video game, he can teleport.
Oh, well, that's
I'm
bullshit.
I'm like
But,
70
okay.
I'm like 70% sure in the Friday the 13th video game he has like the ability for like extreme fast movement, like undetected, or teleporting. It's like one or the other.
Oh no,
okay.
he just stops time, dude.
Well,
He's got the world.
Well, either way, he has one weakness. That's people that look like his mom, because he can be easily fooled. If you look like his mom or a small child, he'll basically not kill you. He'll just kind of he'll probably just be in your area, just kind of check you out and what's going on, and you can lead him somewhere or push him somewhere, trick him into getting into like a cement factory, and then it's pretty much done. So I feel like overall, if there was like a big brawl between the four of them, Jason would probably be the pain in the ass to try to take out. But if Mike Myers is on that same level, and if he's more crafty, I feel like Mike Myers would be able to lure him somewhere. Whereas with Freddy, it's kind of like, if enough people believe in him, he can possess somebody in the real world and start killing people if you don't sleep. I'm just like, it just seems crazy to me like that. So would it be agreed if it was in a fight, it would be Freddy Krueger, Mike Myers, Jason, and Leatherface? Is that fair to say?
I think once you start, because like realistically, Michael Myers doesn't have powers like Jason does.
I would say it would go Freddy, Jason, and then Michael
I
Myers.
think
But you just
Freddy,
said that Mike
Jason.
Myers can get shot, though.
No, here's
Right.
the thing, but if you're going with continuity,
Yeah.
Mike Myers is just a mortal who's just an insane person.
I mean,
doesn't
he
have
does
any
have
power.
like this inhuman durability or whatever, but if we're going to eliminate this whole Cult of Thorn aspect of the character because it directly contradicts like 4 other movies from that line, and especially because it's going to sort of, well, presumably get written out in the newest film that's coming out.
Yeah, Mike Myers is just kind of a psycho.
Yeah, he's a psycho who's very, very good at what he does, and what he does is killing kids and stuff like that, or specifically killing his family members, I should say. I just don't think any version of Mike Myers beats Undead Jason.
And the thing with Leatherface is like, there's a movie where Leatherface gets a magical chainsaw from this demon in the lake.
What?
Yeah, that happened.
Okay,
He
well,
even
wait,
has a child
no,
of rape.
okay,
I
I'm ending this
think
here.
we've gotta
No,
go-
okay.
No, I'm dead. I'm dead. There's so many weird stories and retellings of Leatherface.
Okay, well, I'm ending this here. We're done here right now. So is there any final?
Are we agreed on that order? Freddy, Jason, Myers, Leatherface.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think.
I think that's
We needed
the session.
closure on this, otherwise someone was going to complain.
Once again, special thanks to David Brown again for this viewer requested video.
Keep them coming, buddy. Keep them coming.
And like I said before, is there anything else before we head out? CJ, Andy?
No. Venom sucked.
Andy?
Wow, that just really came out of nowhere. Happy Halloween.
Okay then, as always, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and don't forget to hit the notification bell. This is CJ, Andy, and Kevin signing off. Be sure to watch more movies and play all the video games.
And if you want a really scary movie, watch The Strangers and The Strangers 2. That shit is fucking scary.
No, that's why I was like, if you want a really scary movie, watch The Love Guru.